Hi, in this video we are going to develop a phone book application. So in this phone book application we have two pages, which is the phone book welcome page and the phone data sheet, where all the names and the numbers are listed here. So on the welcome page we have the three buttons, search by name, add new entry, and view all listings. So when you search by name, you enter a name and the sub procedure will generate if the number is there in it. If not, it will say that there is no such name in the entry. If you want to add a new entry, you add the name and the number if it's not already existing. And for view all listings, you would click on this and then it would go on phone data to view all the listings. Once you're on the data sheet, you have another button here, which is the return button to the menu. So from this button you would want to go to the phone book welcome. So basically these two buttons, the view all listings and the return to button, they will use the worksheet.visible function. So we will quickly write these sub procedures here. So we can insert a module. Okay. So first we will declare our variables. So here we have declared all our variables. Now we will first write for these two buttons the sub procedures for view all listings and the return to using the worksheet.visible function. So we will write those here. So we have written the procedures for the view book and the view menu. So in the view book, what we want to do is from the welcome page, we want to go on the data page. So we have made the phone data dot visible is equal to true and the phone book welcome dot visible is equal to false, since we want to go from the welcome to the data. In the view menu, it's the opposite of the view book, and so in the phone book welcome we make that worksheet as true, while the phone data worksheet we make it dot visible is equal to false. The next button that we would want to write for is the search by name button. So we will first name this sub procedure as search. You can refer to the textbook for the codes, as well as for the codes you can look in the finished example worksheets. So we have written our sub search procedure. So in this search, what we want to do is to get the user to input a name that he or she wants to search. So we write for the input box, please enter name you wish to search for using the following format, last name and first name. And the default value we've given it as Smith John. We will then call a create array, which is a function, to search for the new name. The basic value for new number is equal to 0, and for I is equal to 1 to n, where I is an integer, we have declared it here. So what this for loop is going to do is the new name that you enter, that value is given to the phone name, and the respective phone number will be the new number, and that number will be shown to the user. So suppose the new name is not found at all in the listings, it will generate a message saying that there was no phone book entry for that name. So this is how the search button is going to work. Our next button is the add new entry button. So we want to write another procedure for it. So we have written our new procedure for the add new entry button. So it's called new entry. So in this procedure, we are going to ask the user to enter the new entry name using the following format as we did in the search button. Similarly, we will ask the user here with a default of Smith John. Suppose the user does not enter a name, then the message box will say please enter a name here. So you will end the if loop, if statement here. After the name is entered, the user will then have to enter a number, a 10-digit number, and the default will be given here. Suppose this number is less than or greater than 10. Here we have used the function len, which actually calculates the number of digits here. So when you use len new number, it actually counts how many digits are there, and if it's less than or greater than 10, then the message will be please enter a 10-digit number. So once the new name and new number have been entered by the user, this procedure will then call create array, which is a function which we haven't written yet. For after this, for I is equal to 1 to n, if phone name I is equal to new name, then. So suppose you enter a name which is already present in the listings, which is phone name I. Then there will be a message generated which will say that there is already an entry for this person in the phone book. After you have inserted the new entries, and if it's not already listed in the existing entry, then the new contact information will be entered as follows here. It will be the last entry, so that's the reason it's n,0 for offset. So in the name start, it'll be at the bottommost n,0, and for the number start column, it'll be at the bottommost. So this is name start and this is number start. So as and when you keep adding it, it'll be added at n,0, which is the offset. From here, this will be 0,0 and this will be n,0. So after these are added, you can then sort the entries by last name. So that goes by range name start, num start dot offset n,0 dot select, and then you can sort them by ascending order. So when this entire procedure is going on, you don't want the user to see the background. So in the start itself, you do screen updating is equal to false. You don't want it to be shown. And you activate the phone datasheet worksheet. After everything is done, you activate the phone book welcome.activate worksheet, and you make the application that screen updating is equal to true. After everything is done, you can then show it to the user, and you can say the message box new name and has been added to the phone book. So whatever name the user puts in, the message box will say that Smith John has been added to the phone book. So that is the new entry procedure. Now we will write our function create array. Okay, so we have our function create array. So in this, we will first count the number of entries in a phone book by using the .rows.count function. So we write here n is equal to range dot offset 1,0 dot n xl down dot rows dot count. So that will count all the entries in the phone book. be rows.count, so the number of rows, and then it'll count it. The readm function, you use it to assign arrays to the required length. So we don't know what length it will be for, so we will use readm for it. So here we have, in this example, we have used len, which counts. Then we have used readm, which changes for dynamic arrays. And then later in this function, you write for I is equal to 1 to n, phone name I is equal to name start dot offset I comma 0. And similarly for phone number, you do the same. As I mentioned earlier, this will be name start and this will be number start. So phone name and phone number is what it says here from this for loop. And then that is your function. So we will try running these. Press play. So we will play search. Press play. So the default name is Smith John. Click OK. So it says the phone number for Smith John is already there. So as you search by the name, the number comes up. You click OK. We will now play for new entry. Click play. So it says please enter the new name. So the default is John Smith. So you can enter a new name, say Max Party. Click OK. So this is the number. Suppose you add another one. So it's 11-digit now. So it says please enter a 10-digit number. You say OK. Alright, so all these sub procedures work. So next thing to do is to assign these. They are macros. So you say search. Okay. For this you will assign new entry. Okay. And this will be view book. Click OK. So once you go on view all listings, on this you will assign the view menu and click OK. So once you go on this, so the phone book menu comes up. Search by name. Okay. Add new entry. Okay. So John Smith was already in there, so it says there is already an entry for this person in the phone book. So this is our phone book application.